And we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm the Atheist Ranger. I know it's the last day of the month. I probably should have did this a lot earlier, but yep, this is my February sub hangout, and just a few little announcements, at least personal announcements. As many of you know, I created a PayPal account a few weeks ago just to pay for some, well, at least help me catch up financially. But I figured I'd keep it because, all the professionals have it. Why not me? And to anyone who donates, and I'm just going to throw this out there, to anyone who donates more than $10 to my PayPal, I will respond to a video of your choosing, as long as it's about religion or politics. Please, please don't send me like an anti-evolution video because I'm not very good at science. But as long as it's about religion or politics, I'll probably comment on it. And as far as a personal announcement, I have made the life decision to move to New York. I don't know whether or not I've made that announcement before on live or not. But as to where I'll be moving to, I don't know. It's where the job takes me. But other than that, we have, unfortunately, right now we just have my good friend Prometheus.
How's it going, man? How you doing?
Been doing a lot better. But I have a roof over my head and I have food in my stomach. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Nope. And of course, my birthday is next Tuesday.
All right. Well, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. So what's new with you?
Well, I'm trying to get back into making videos. I'm doing a video comparing Andrew Yang to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, Andrew Yang. I mean, I think he is a progressive, but he just has some things that I just disagree with.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, I mean, call me a big Bernie supporter, but I don't like the fact that he's not on board with the whole debt-free college, which, I mean, I heard his comments on it, and I do see maybe one of his concerns, because you'd be surprised how many people who, like for example, like college athletes, you'd be surprised how many of them, get obviously a full scholarship, and, most of those college athletes, if they don't go to the NFL, they don't, get a job in that field.
Yeah, I mean, I actually saw those comments on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I do think he makes a lot of points. We do need to put more of an emphasis on training and vocation. Like
in trade schools.
Like trade schools. Yes, I mean, what I was thinking is like you get rid of the humanities courses or just all these electives at regular universities, and then just expand universities to include trade schools.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, I think in 2 weeks from now I'll be taking a week-long welding class.
Oh, all right.
Yes, I doubt that I'll get any kind of job with only a week of training, but I have security to fall back on. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see his concern. But when it comes to, I just personally feel at the end of the day, people should not be going into mountains of debt, no matter what the major is. People should not be going into mountains of debt just to get themselves educated. In fact, I think it was TJ Kirk made a video about Ben Shapiro not that long ago, and he actually made a good point, and that is education and healthcare should not be a source of profit.
Oh yeah, I mean, Andrew Yang actually did come up with a method to combat the debt, but I think his method was. I don't know, kind of rubbed me a little the wrong way. He says if you pay 10% of your wages for 10 years, your debt would be completely paid off. And I'm like, 10% of certain people's wages, that's kind of steep, especially when they need that money.
Like, yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree. I mean, if you're making like me, I make about $380 a week. And to take $38 out of my paycheck, I'm sorry, but right now that's $38 that I need.
Mm-hmm. Although he does bring up the concept of universal basic income, like $1,000 a month. What do you think of that?
I think it is interesting. I think it's something worth trying. In fact, I saw him talking to fucking Stuart Varney about it. Oh my god, that guy annoys the hell out of me. And I saw him.
Yeah. Socialism.
I know. I saw him. I saw Andrew, like I love when Stuart Varney gets owned, which doesn't take much, but he made a good point because a lot of these conservatives will make the I guess quote unquote criticism that people will quit their job, and Andrew Yang looked at Stuart Varney. He's like, no one's going to quit their job over $1,000 a month. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that interview or not, but I'm like, exactly.
Oh
like,
yeah, I did. I saw that interview.
He's like,
He was really clever, especially when he said, "You're smart enough to know this."
Exactly.
Like, right. I mean, that I thought was perfect.
That's why I would have said. I'm like, no one's going to. In fact, I'd go so far as to say nobody can live on $1,000 a month.
Yeah, I mean, although like if you were to live in a 2-bedroom apartment and you had like a roommate who also got $1,000 a month, it's possible that you could live a standard life.
Yeah, I mean, like whenever I move to New York, I'm probably going to do that same thing, find a roommate situation.
Oh yeah, like I don't know how much rent is in New York or where you're going to be, but like if you get like 2 or 3 people with you, yeah, that covers your room and board plus food.
Oh yeah. And what else did I see? I mean, there's just so much crap to fucking comment on. Fucking Ivanka Trump. Oh man, that was just painful to fucking watch.
Yeah.
It just boiled my fucking blood. Like you are a fucking, and I hate using these kind of terms. I truly do. But she is a fucking trust fund baby. So I mean, to her logic, she should give back every single fucking cent that her father gave her.
Oh yeah, and her father's a trust fund baby too.
Exactly.
I mean, if you actually look this up, there was a story done by, I think it was either the New Yorker or the New York Times. I can't remember, but it was talking about all the Trump tax. Like I think it was the fact that he was playing the tax fraud for about 30 years or something. But
yeah.
apparently, his sister is a federal judge, and as a requirement for the federal judge, you have to disclose your income. And a lot of the income she disclosed was trust funds that were set up by her parents that go to her and her siblings. So basically, that's how they got the dirt on Trump.
Yeah, and I think her answer to that Fox News thing is just first of all, I don't think she should even be in the position she's in the White House. I mean, she has no experience. I think she does like security counsel or something, but whatever position she's in, she has no experience in. She doesn't have any.
Yeah, she's just an advisor.
Oh, that's all. I thought she had
she's just an advisor like her husband, Jared Kushner.
No, okay. Again, either way, she's not in any.
Yeah, I know. And the conservatives tried to spin a story to go after AOC for hiring her boyfriend.
That's not.
I mean, look,
I
don't get me
read
wrong
about that. That's not what she did.
Oh, I didn't read the whole story. What happened?
No, I think, and I didn't read the complete article myself, but I think it was like she hired him for like some photography work, and that's about it. If that was my understanding.
All right. Well, I'll have to look it up. But yeah, but it's funny that conservatives were going after her for some sort of nepotism, in hiring her boyfriend. But literally, the president has his son-in-law and daughter advising him in the White House.
Yeah. I again don't know the whole story when it comes to AOC, but I knew it was some type of temp work that he did, and that's all he did for her campaign. Yeah.
Well, but like I said, that the conservatives were going after her for just. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. To be fair, when is the conservatives not going after AOC? I mean, you knew they were desperate when they tried to criticize her for that dancing video.
Well, to be honest, I didn't actually see a lot of actual conservative criticism because I frequent Twitter a lot. And a lot of the major conservative figures that I saw were mainly saying, no, this is a stupid thing to criticize her on. What happened was there was this stupid, I want to say it's a QAnon account or something. They just put that up and suddenly a lot of these conservatives were like, what the hell is this? This is not a reason to go after AOC, and that's at least what I've seen.
No, well, that's good.
Yeah, so it's actually quite interesting. You see, even when conservatives aren't criticizing her, she's actually making news. So it's kind of it's the same effect that Trump got during the 2016 campaign.
Yeah. Here's something. What did you think about Tulsi Gabbard? And I again don't know if you saw the clips or not, but Tulsi Gabbard on The View.
I actually think she handled herself pretty well. I don't exactly agree with the whole universal anti-intervention platform because, you kind of have to keep that kind of military policy under wraps. So it's kind of, I can understand the emotional sentiment of wanting to get troops out of the country, but we do have to understand that there are geopolitical consequences. The thing that happened with Iraq was kind of a perfect example.
Yeah. I've always kind of identified as a non-interventionist. In fact, recently I've been watching a lot of Jesse Ventura. Let me be clear.
I like Jesse Ventura.
Okay, let me be clear to my audience. I know he's a conspiracy theorist. Obviously, I don't believe in that shit, but I do agree with a lot of his political views. And I've always been kind of leaning towards non-interventionists. In fact, I'd go so far as to say I think the only time we should militarily get involved with other countries is if the citizens of those countries ask for our help. But again, that's just my position. But this whole thing with Venezuela, I'm just tired of going after countries that the American people know Syria is not a threat to the United States. Assad is not a threat to the United States. Venezuela is not a threat to the United States. So I guess that's what Americans are really getting tired of, because we know these third world countries are not a threat to us. They're not even a threat to probably most of the world. So,
well, yeah, I can agree that there's definitely no military threat from these nations, but I do think there is an economic one, because one of the main reasons why we do an intervention is because we have the world's reserve currency, the US dollar. But in order for that dollar to have power in the world, other countries have to recognize it. And that is why we back 73% of the world's dictators, because they in turn back the US dollar in all trades. And the thing is, China and Russia, they kind of want for us to lose that status for the dollar. And the thing is, if that dollar is lost, it's going to hurt us severely economically. So the kind of thing that's happening with Venezuela and Syria, and it's actually one of the main reasons why we went for an intervention in Libya and Iraq, because you'll actually look this up and you'll actually find out that they tried to get off the dollar and they paid the price. So,
well, yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, but again, I can't help but agree with Tulsi Gabbard and even Jesse Ventura on this. Militarily speaking, every time we get involved, we make things 10 times worse. And I do think that Libya is a prime example. Libya.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I'm not defending on how Libya went, because the thing is, we kind of tried Libya a different way than we tried Iraq. We didn't put troops on the ground in Libya. We just gave the rebels military assistance with planes and ships.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they didn't have cohesion with the rebels. So it ended up fracturing into multiple rebel groups. Even Al-Qaeda got a leg up in that region.
Yeah, and that's why I think, again, it does slightly annoy me when I hear people saying that the reason we should get militarily involved is because, well, Assad's a bad guy. And as you just said, we support 70% of the world's dictatorship. So that kind of argument to me falls on its face.
Yeah, except when you actually learn what we get out of it, then, and you understand that if the U.S. dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency, then how the debt is going to work for us, it's going to end up destroying our economy. And
well, no, I'm not saying. I'm sure. Again, foreign policy is not my best subject. I'll be very clear about that to you and to my audience. And I'm sure maybe in a way we do have good reasons for supporting these dictators. But again, these are the same. I'm just saying, when you see it turn on CNN, or again, even to that View clip, all you pretty much got out of them was, well, he's a bad guy. That's why we should get militarily involved in Syria.
yeah, and I don't think they're ever going to be honest on why we actually do the things we do. And the thing is, if you actually explained it, explained what happens if the United States loses its top status with the dollar, then yeah, I think you would get more people on board with the reasoning that, yeah, you know what, we hate the idea of it, but we do need the world, or at least the majority of the nations of the world, to recognize the US dollar. And we might have to go to really great lengths to ensure that.
Mm. Well, speaking, so just out of curiosity, for 2020, who will you be voting for?
For 2020, so far, you know what, it is split between it's a split between Bernie, Tulsi, and Yang.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, Tulsi. I mean, again, I'm not in full agreement with Tulsi on foreign policy, but I'm more of a domestic policy guy. Andrew Yang actually said it best, that you have to make sure that you have everything's going well at home before you can start doing things abroad.
Yeah, and that's why I'm against these regime change wars, because they are costing us a lot of money.
Like I said, I think we should focus more on the domestic policy and make ourselves whole. But like what I said before, I mean, a lot of the things that we want to do, definitely the Green New Deal is going to be really expensive in order to get that into motion. And are you aware of modern monetary theory?
I'm not.
Okay. Well, that's kind of the system that I believe we are functioning on right now. It's kind of like the petrodollar. When we got off the gold standard, we got on the petrodollar. Well, I mean, I can't explain it in its entirety, but that's basically everything I've just said about how the dollar needs to be the world's top currency, or the world's reserve currency. It's kind of tied in with modern monetary theory. It basically means that since we own the money, we can just basically just print more money to solve our financial problems. But we can't do that if we lose that status. So in order to pay for like the Green New Deal, which is going to be expensive, we're probably going to have that dollar as the world's reserve currency.
Okay, gotcha.
So
yeah, and speaking of the Green New Deal, again, the crap that it's getting, it just annoys me, especially the fucking idiots on Fox News. Oh my God, they're becoming more stupid and stupider as the fucking years go by.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
when it comes to AOC, they literally took it literally when she said that the world's going to end in 12 years. Again, I think most of the hosts on there are just paid to be stupid. But again, she is right. If we don't do anything, which again, I hope the Green New Deal does happen. If we don't do anything about climate change in the next 12 years, I mean, like I said, I'm going to hopefully live in New York soon. And that would suck if I have to move again, because half of New York is fucking underwater.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I know. And of course, the Green New Deal, I really like the things about like the rebuilding the infrastructure. And a lot of what conservatives go after is like, they say it's going to ban airplanes. No, what it said was it's going to render plane travel unnecessary, which is kind of like how Netflix rendered Blockbuster unnecessary. So it's literally making a free market option by advancing bullet trains. I mean, if you make bullet trains, like if say you make bullet trains and you make them faster, you make them cheaper and more convenient than airplanes, guess what? Airplanes are going to go the way of Blockbuster.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, to anyone that may watch this that's under 15 years old, Blockbuster was pretty much a Netflix store back in our day.
Yeah, basically, back then you had to actually get out of your house, get in your car, go to a building, and then find the movie you wanted to watch on a shelf.
Yeah,
and then hopefully there would still be one little box or one little copy of your movie, and you'd have to either put it in the DVD player or the VHS.
Man, you know you and I are old if we remember fucking Blockbuster. Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. So what are the new? Oh, what did you think about Bernie's CNN town hall?
I haven't finished watching it. I mean, I've seen some clips, and I actually thought he did a good job.
I thought he did an excellent job as well, but I just wish it wasn't just the same question that he's been asked over and over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just to make sure. Well, what was the question? Because I want to make sure that I saw the clip.
I don't know. There's just like numerous questions. Like, obviously, you had Wolf there asking, how are we going to pay for this, and stuff like that. And
yeah, but the thing is, Medicare for All is a cheaper system.
Oh yeah, yes, I absolutely agree. And of course, you did actually have someone from the audience, of course, a conservative student asked that. He said, he pretty much told the conservative student, and he was nice about it. He said, "Do I think the rich and corporations should pay their fair share? Absolutely." And by the way, he was asking the audience. He said, "I'm sure most people here know that for the past 2 years in a row, Amazon has paid $0 in federal taxes."
Yep. I believe I saw that clip. So I'm guessing you're going for Bernie this year?
Yes,
you're 20.
Yes, I am rooting for Bernie, although I am a little worried that the DNC has not learned its lesson. Sorry, I was reading the chat. I'm slightly worried that the DNC won't learn its lesson, because from what I've heard, like little rumors here and there, that the DNC is already crowning Kalama as the not crowning, grooming, grooming Kalama.
But then I hear Joe Biden might jump in the race.
He can, but I don't see him getting anywhere. I'm sorry. I mean, I know he has some name to his name, but I don't see him doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the top dog on the corporatist side. I mean, it's probably going to be Kamala, but then again, Joe Biden, with his name recognition and the fact that he was vice president, will probably push him to the top on that side. But the thing is, with the DNC, there was an argument that I found quite interesting, and I think the fact that there's more progressives running in this time, it would mean that if they gobble up enough delegates, and then say like Tulsi and Andrew Yang suddenly have to drop out, but they can pledge all their delegates to Bernie, that would put him over the 50% requirement.
Yeah.
See, otherwise, if none of them make it percent mark and they have to go to a second vote, then the super delegates come in and pick the candidate.
Well, first of all, I think that
that's pretty much how the DC is hoping to screw Bernie and the other progressives. So basically, the best thing to do is to make sure that the progressive candidates win enough delegates to get them over the 50% mark.
Yeah, I agree. Well, first of all, I think the Democratic Party should get away with the whole delegate thing anyway. I mean, I honestly think
I agree, but
yeah,
what can we do?
Wow, we can protest, but again, that to me is what's stupid about the Democratic Party, is that they're pretty much letting their insiders choose the nomination, and that's just dumb. You should let your voter base do that. And yeah, I guess I'm rooting for Bernie, but I guess that's in my mind. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about he's pretty much going to do a repeat. I think the DNC and the mainstream media is going to do whatever it takes to get Kalama elected. Because I guarantee you that when the time comes, I guarantee you that Senator Harris is going to get probably twice the airtime as Bernie, just like with Hillary.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But at least with this time, Bernie has the name recognition. He's not just trying to build himself from scratch like he was in 2016. He's already got the infrastructure set. So
that's true. In fact, there was a poll that I read recently. I think Kyle Kalunsky went over it on his show, or one of the news shows that I'm subscribed to. They said that even early polling shows that Bernie might take New Hampshire.
Yeah, I saw that, but I was Tulsi ended up getting 0, which
I was disappointed in that.
Yeah, and Andrew Yang wasn't even in that poll, but they did say other at 5%, so other beat like a couple other candidates.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I should play this or not because it's technically music, but it's not like famous music. But came across my recommended thing. It's a Run DMC parody. Well, have you ever heard of that song called "It's Tricky" by Run DMC?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I'm sure once you hear the beat, you'll probably recognize it. But I guess a Bernie fan did like a parody of it for Bernie for like a little promotional video, and it is like it's catchy, but it's also funny at the same time. So let me pull that up.
All right.
Quick. Alrighty. All right, there you go.
It's time for a revival. I think it's very vital. Ain't past its prime, it's time to shine. It's burning. It's the title. Here we go. It's burning. It's time to shine. Ain't past
oh, this is awesome.
Now is the time. It's burning. It's burning, 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 burning. It's Bernie's race to climb just one last time. That's right, showtime. It's burning. Burning, burning, burning. I know it's kind of early. I don't want you to worry. Trump's in the house. We'll get him out. I heard it from a birdie. Trump really is so sleazy. The country's feeling queasy. We know last time the polls weren't lying. It could have been so easy. It's Bernie's time to shine. The DNC screwed up last time. It's burning. 2020. It's burning, 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 burning. It's Bernie's race to
yeah, that's just the gist of it. Oh man, that was awesome. I don't want to play the whole thing because I don't want to get copyrighted.
All right. I mean, anyway, I don't know. That might sound familiar to me. I just can't remember where I heard it from.
It was a song back in the 90s.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out where I heard it. If I found like if it was in a movie or something, like I'd recognize.
Actually, it was in White Chicks.
Ah, never saw that.
Oh damn! Yeah, that's the only movie I know it was in.
Yeah, there's only a few Wayans Brothers movies I've ever seen. My favorite one is "Don't Be a Menace" in South Central.
Oh, nice.
That is my favorite.
What? So, what is it? Anything you want to talk about?
Let's see. Oh yeah, apparently let's talk about the foreign the foreign events, like the Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un, and apparently India and Pakistan might be going to war.
Oh yeah, but I didn't know about the Pakistan thing, but yeah, I forgot that was today.
Yeah.
Well,
and I guess we can probably do the Cohen thing as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was gonna bring that up later, but I wasn't sure if there was any topics that you want to touch on because you're way into more politics than I am.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I wouldn't even. I love talking politics, but at the same time, I wouldn't exactly describe myself as a junkie either. But yeah, what's the deal with Pakistan and India?
Now, I don't know much about it, but I just heard that apparently Pakistan may have shot down 2 Indian jets, and there's some tensions. There's been some tensions between them for years, and they're both nuclear-powered states. So if shit goes south with them, it's nuclear war.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, I mean, there should be an article. There should be some articles based on it here.
Well, that is not going to end well.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'd have to do more research onto it, but I was hoping we could at least like touch on it.
Like I said, foreign policy is not my best subject, but I mean, if you have two countries that are pretty much at each other's throats, it's probably not the best idea to shoot down their planes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what exactly caused it, but I'm going to look more into it. But yeah, I mean, the fact that both of them are nuclear-powered states just raises the stakes.
I mean, it's getting to the point where I honestly think that only first world countries should be owning nuclear weapons, not. And I'll just be nice to India and Pakistan here, second world countries or third world countries.
Yeah, Pakistan's pretty much a third world country. I don't know. I mean, the only reason they have nukes is because of India.
Oh, well, thanks, India. Appreciate that.
Well, yeah, no, India got nukes and Pakistan hates India because of all the Hindu-Muslim feuds.
Oh.
So then they decided to get nukes. And I'm like, okay, so we have we have the state where pretty much the Taliban and Al-Qaeda fraternize, and it's a nuclear-powered state with what I don't think is a stable leadership.
Yeah, so, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. I'm like, why don't we just go in there and get those fucking nukes out of there?
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm telling you, like I said, I mean, personally, and this may be going off the deep end, I don't think any country should be owning nuclear weapons. But if any countries are going to, I'd rather it be in the mature hands of first world countries, not, the childish third world countries.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you ever get rid of all nuclear weapons, then a country that builds a nuke becomes the
superpower. Exactly,
becomes the ruler of the world.
Yeah.
So there always has to be a nuclear deterrent.
Yeah, and then I think actually with this touched on the whole, since you and I touched on the regime change wars, I think honestly that's why Kim Jong-un is probably pursuing a nuclear weapon, because I mean, it's not a coincidence that we only seem to topple governments that don't have nuclear weapons.
Oh yeah, I mean, like right now we're trying to get something started with Venezuela. I mean, the thing is, where I differ from the other interventionists is, I at least know that the United States is behind the trying to get Maduro out of power, because they tried it before and they've wanted to do it for years. So the thing is just whether you support getting him out or not.
Yeah, militarily, no. I mean, when it comes to that, again, I definitely approve of the economic sanctions. And as far as the Syrian thing is concerned, I'm sorry, but for me, I'm going to have to go with Jesse Ventura on this. I think the only reason we're in Syria right now is because we want to build the oil pipeline through Syria, and Assad was saying no.
Oh yeah. Well, on the Assad thing, I've actually shifted on Assad. I mean, originally, when I looked at it, I kind of saw, yeah, you know what? It makes sense to get rid of this guy. He's a dictator. He's killing his own people, and he's allies with Iran and funding Hezbollah. But the thing is, the rebels have now pretty much become majority terrorists. So it's now if we get rid of Assad, who are we giving it to?
Exactly, and then Syria becomes another Libya. That's my point.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that if a regime change is going to happen, it should be done with people we trust. And there's certain people in there that I don't trust, especially the group called the Muslim Brotherhood. They're the people that support Hamas, and they're backed by Turkey. And Turkey's not exactly pro-Israel. So the people that want to get rid of Assad because he's connected to a nation that hates Israel and connected to a terrorist group, they have to contend with the fact that they're now replacing it potentially with a bad leadership of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is allied with a nation that hates Israel and is connected to a terrorist group. I mean, you're just basically replacing one with the other as a status quo, at least to the perception of Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I honestly hope we get that out of at least most of these wars, if not for anything, just to, you know, save money. Because I think, I believe this was Kyle Kalinske who said this. I think it's over the next 20 years we're going to spend like almost $50 trillion on these regime change wars.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I'll have to watch that video.
Yeah, again, don't know if that was true, but again, that was his prediction.
No, I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be, if it's been accrued since the 70s. I mean, might be true.
Yeah.
So okay, what about the Trump Kim summit?
Actually, I don't think I saw. Well, I'm not saw, but again, I didn't really look at that. What happened at the Trump summit this time?
Well, apparently, it seemed to have ended abruptly. Trump and Kim didn't sign anything. So,
Shocking.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm thinking the summit was a failure, and Trump is trying to cover his ass.
Well, I'm not surprised it was a failure because he probably didn't offer anything. Yeah. Again, the whole reason probably, again, as you and I touched on, the only reason Kim is probably wanting to get a nuclear weapon is so that way he doesn't have to deal with the United States coming in and replacing him.
Yeah, because the thing is, we did the same thing. We did that thing with Libya. We got rid of their nuclear weapons, and this was before Obama's time. And then during Obama's term, we went in there and took them out.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's not just American regime change that Kim's worried about. It's also China. I mean,
China, I didn't think about that.
The thing is, China and North Korea, they may be, I think they're only allies of convenience at this point because Kim killed his older brother, which was under Chinese protection. So,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So China's not exactly happy with Kim, but if there's some type of like ironclad deal between South Korea and China, then I think Kim Jong-un is fucked.
Yeah, because I think the assumptions from, at least from what I've seen in corporate American media, is that this, you know, oh well, if Kim gets a nuclear weapon, he's going to either use it on the U.S. or he's going to use it on South Korea.
Well, I mean, the possibility of him attacking South Korea, I do think that is a legitimate threat. But as far as attacking the United States, I mean, okay, sure, it's possible. But the thing is, his rockets explode faster than a virgin on prom night. So I'm not really worried about a rocket reaching America.
Well, I mean, I suppose, you know, in the reality we live in, anything is possible. But as far as him I think he's too self-interested to attack America directly. As far as Seoul, North Korea,
China,
South Korea,
Oh, sorry. And China's even said that if North Korea attacks the United States, then China's not going to back North Korea. So,
yeah, and I think South Korea, and again, foreign policy is not my best subject, but don't we have like an alliance with South Korea, if I'm not mistaken?
yeah, they're an ally.
Okay, yeah, and I also think that's
Yeah, in China, I think that I don't know what exactly the relationship status between China and South Korea, but I think they're on better terms now than they were before.
yeah, and I just think that Kim is too self-interested to attack either, because again, we are the United States is pretty good allies with South Korea, and I think Kim knows that even if he wants to attack South Korea, he knows that his military is no match for ours. So I just think he's too self-interested to do either.
Well, yeah, since it's years from the Stalin era, but yeah, I mean that's and the thing is though, I think back when the first summit happened, Trump wasn't exactly engaging in regime change. But now with this second summit, there's the thing going on with Venezuela. So what happens with Venezuela now is what Kim's got his attention on. So I think now it makes it more difficult for Kim Jong-un to agree to a deal.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I think John Bolton, just a few weeks ago, he was pretty much giddy, and at least to me, he was pretty much admitting the fact that the only reason he wants the Trump administration to go in there is so that way, companies like ExxonMobil can invest there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, he actually admitted it, that, yeah, oil is probably one of the main concerns in Venezuela. And you know what? If we do get Venezuelan oil, like if Venezuela does flip to Guaido, we're going to get cheaper oil as a result of it, because now we have an ally to increase its share in OPEC.
No, I mean, if Venezuela can share our oil, again, peacefully, not have to use our military for that, then fine. I have no problem with that. But again, for me, when it comes, again, non-interventionist here, I personally believe that military force should be used as a last resort, not a first resort.
Yeah, I mean, and I would just say, like, it's kind of better to have like an actual ally, like one that we have heavy influence with, than someone we have to actually go down there and make a deal.
Yeah.
So that's my position in it. It's all about it's kind of, I don't want to say the word imperialist, but it's kind of in that camp, because you do want to have the United States be the top influence of the world, especially when it comes to fighting climate change. You kind of want all the countries to get on board.
Yeah, and our dumbass president decided to pull out the fucking Paris Accord agreement.
Oh, yes.
That was a fucking dumbass move.
But then again, the climate accord wasn't exactly as full of teeth as we would have wanted, or that was necessary.
Oh, I agree, but again, I don't know much about the agreement, but I will say from what little I've read about it, at least it was somewhat a step in the right direction.
It was a step in the right direction, yeah.
Oh, speaking of AOC, because you and I said something about conservatives attacking her earlier. Did you see fucking Fox and Friends actually? And I couldn't help but laugh at this, because at this point they're just
they were mocking her for paying more to her staff.
Yeah, because
level staff.
Yeah, she and that one guy who I forget his name, but I think he was in the military. He's like, it's socialism, communism on display. Like, shut up, just shut the fuck up, dude.
I think Steve Ducey. I think that's his name.
Oh yeah, Steve Ducey. I'm saying
no, Brian Kilmeade. Brian Kilmeade is his name. Not Steve Ducey's the other one.
Yeah, Steve Ducey's the one that kind of looks like he just got out of a West Side Story play.
Yeah, the guy with the longer face and the blonde hair, while Steve Ducey's the one with the stockier look.
Yeah, and they were actually complaining like, oh, well, her chief of staff's only going to make $80,000 a year. I'm sitting here thinking, and he can't live off that? I'm pretty sure you can live off $80,000 in D.C.
I mean, I will say, like, if he has if the chief of staff has a problem with it, like saying, you know what, why am I making so little compared to the others? You know what? Yeah, I would give them that point. But the thing is, you do kind of want to give people a wage they can live on.
Exactly. Like, I think they were trying to persuade us, oh, well, she's paying her interns. So like, no, she's paying her mid, I think it was entry level.
Yeah, it was entry level staff.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's, to me, Fox News should really learn its lesson because, first of all, screaming Venezuela didn't work last time when it came to Bernie or any progressive for that matter. And it does kind of irk me a little bit because most of these fuckers have been corrected either on Twitter or on their own shows, and yet they still can continue to say this fucking nonsense.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, now I'm not a socialist, but the thing is, I mean, Venezuela is in the position it's in because of sanctions. They're not allowed to bank anymore. They can't guarantee loans to cover some of their key losses or whatever it is. I don't know the full extent, but yeah. And then plus you have 95 to 98% of their economy dependent on oil. And the thing is, United States and Saudi Arabia, this was back when they were kind of at a little bit of an economic war on oil. The United States got into fracking and the Saudis didn't like it. So they were trying to push so much production that it completely collapsed the price of oil. And when Venezuela is dependent on oil, on prices being high, then that hurts their economy pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree. And again, this is something that I'm sure most of these Fox News idiots have been probably told. But then when you tell them that, you'll say that they'll probably come up with, "Oh, you're saying it's our fault?" Yeah, in a way, it kind of is. And let me be clear: I know that America is not the only country, at least that I know of. America is not the only country that has sanctions on Venezuela, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to look at that, but as far as I think. So far, it's us and Europe.
Yeah. And as far as politically, I mean, I honestly don't see why Bernie even calls himself a socialist because, again, you look at his policies, he's clearly a FDR-type social democrat.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then, plus, when you actually look at the definition of democratic socialism, it says it's a post-capitalist ideology. So it really does no good for Bernie to call him a democratic socialist.
Yeah, I agree. It still boggles my mind that he still does. But I mean, the fact that he is, again, during the CNN town hall, he said, you know, what socialism means to me, but that really doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I've taken a step towards Andrew Yang. I mean, he actually calls it his vision, humanity-based capitalism.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I just call it, a mixed economy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, or just call yourself a social democracy or human-based capitalism. I mean, whichever one rocks your socks off.
You know, here's the thing for thought for you. And again, just another thing that annoys me about Republicans recently, especially when it comes to Bernie Sanders. Have you ever noticed that most people on the right, they'll only ask the question, how much will it cost when it comes to helping poor and middle-class Americans? They never ask this question when it comes to corporations and wealthy people. Am I the only one that's noticed that?
Yeah, you're pretty much right about that. And it's because they keep cutting the taxes on the wealthy because that's their donors.
Yeah, like I can't help but again, and I saw this woman, and what the hell's her name? Mia Love, and she was on CNN, I think it was last week, saying, "Well, you know, how are we going to pay for debt-free college?" And I'm sitting there like, I wish I was on this show so I can just, you know, say what I just said. I said, I would tell Mia Love, "Oh, really? We can't pay for that, but yet somehow we can pay for all of these regime change wars. We can pay for giving $2 trillion to the ultra wealthy."
Yeah, I mean, like I would say, because first of all, it costs like a total of 80 billion for to to fund all colleges. But the thing is, I would prefer that it be done by the states. You know, each state puts money into their own free college program and just make it for state colleges.
Yeah,
Like for my state of Arizona, it would be ASU, NAU, and U of A. And you know what? I would say, you know what? Let's have private colleges compete with the public colleges.
yeah. In fact, when it comes to Medicare for all, that's pretty much the only compromise I would be willing to accept is that again is creating a federal law where all states can set up their own healthcare systems and the insurance companies have to stay there. Like for example, I live in Vermont, and again, you'll see people like Ben Shapiro make this argument all the time of, oh well, Vermont tried single payer and it didn't work. I'm like, no,
It never passed, or
yeah,
it passed, but it was vetoed by the governor.
exactly. It was vetoed, but the reason why it was vetoed, not many people know this, is because pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies threatened to pull all business out if they passed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing is, though, I mean, that would have been a good thing. But then again,
I agree, but yeah.
But there is one problem, though, is that when it comes to the states, they have to make sure that they have a balanced budget, whereas the federal government doesn't.
Yeah. But again,
So
that's
the thing is,
Medicare for all, that's the only kind of compromise I'm willing to make, is creating a federal law where states can set up their own healthcare systems, and the insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies have to keep their business there.
Yeah. I mean, I would consider a better compromise to be like the public option. Like you have a Medicare for all system, but you allow private insurance industries to compete with a single payer system. So
Yeah.
the single payer system will still negotiate with the hospitals and pharmaceutical companies on a price, and that pretty much covers like the overwhelming majority of Americans, because Medicare is, I believe, recognized in 96% of hospitals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but currently Medicare does not negotiate for pharmaceutical costs. So, and the fact is, Medicare does the negotiations for these healthcare costs right now, but it's only for people 65 and above. So if you actually include everyone into Medicare, it's essentially negotiating for everybody, which then makes a new price.
Yeah.
So, but then you have like the private insurance, they can now take that new rate and then negotiate their own rates from that. So you're literally saving private insurance companies money by having a Medicare for all system take the bulk of the patients, as well as doing the negotiations.
Oh yeah, I agree. And Vermont's like even now Vermont's healthcare is it's pretty okay, because like for example, when I was in Delaware and I was on Medicare, I wanted to, before I left a few years ago, I wanted to get a vasectomy, and of course Medicare down in Delaware didn't cover it, but up here, up here I called Vermont Health Connect, and sure enough, they said that full sterilization was covered. I'm like, awesome. So now April 3rd, I'll be getting myself snipped.
Yep, snip, snip, snip.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so why are you moving to New York?
Honestly, Vermont's okay. It's just that it's really fucking boring here. It's just not for activity wise, it's just not the place for me. Like Vermont's good if you're like a snowboarder, a skier, or a hunter. I'm neither one of those three things. And and honestly, I've just always been a city guy, and Vermont's kind of a country state. I'll just give it that.
All right. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Besides, it's New York. I mean, you can have there's always something to do in New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then I know we've been talking a little bit about Andrew Yang and his differences with Bernie Sanders, but there was another difference that I saw between the two, and it's Andrew Yang is not exactly in favor of the $15 minimum wage. He says that he believes in the spirit of the $15 minimum wage, but he understands that if the cost of paying employees exceeds the price of automation, that it would incentivize businesses to automate instead of paying employees. What do you think about that?
Well, what do I think about that? Well, again, I'm going to have to go kind of the TJ Kirk route here and say that, first of all, when it comes to, like, for example, and actually Bernie Sanders brought this up during his town hall Monday night. He said that about robotics. I personally believe that eventually, these companies, whether they have to pay their workers a living wage or not, I think that's going to happen anyway. But until that time comes, I think people should get paid a living wage at their job. I don't care what the job is. I don't care if you're a cashier at McDonald's. That cashier at McDonald's should be getting paid enough to pay their bills and pay their rent and pay, enough to live on, pretty much.
Oh yeah. Okay, but the thing is, like, there are news articles that I found that show that the people that have won $15 an hour in fights against or in protests, I should say, they ended up getting fired right after. So it seems like judging by, if you just look at those stories, that Andrew Yang might be a little more right than Bernie in this, because even Bernie acknowledges that, yeah, the robots are coming and they'll eventually replace people, but people are just going to lose their jobs anyway. So what's the point in fighting for a $15 minimum wage if they're just going to lose their job?
Yeah, but at the same time, I personally feel it doesn't matter what you pay your workers. If the robots are coming, as Bernie even admits, then but by that logic, we should allow Amazon, for example, to pay their workers $1 an hour. I just it doesn't matter how much it does. Again, as I'm trying to make my position kind of clear. Seeing as the robots are coming, it really doesn't matter what we pay the workers if the robots are coming, by that logic.
Yeah, but then just note that Andrew Yang believes in paying people $1,000 a month. So, like, if they kept, if say you kept the minimum wage at like $7.25 an hour, but you added $1,000 a month to their wages, I mean.
Well, I'll say this: if we can get universal income going, and again, I don't know if it'll work or not. I don't know what other countries have tried it or not.
Well, there's a study going on in Finland.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what I think the preliminary results came out.
Okay. Well, I'll say this: if universal income gets going, I would settle for maybe the minimum wage going up to maybe $10 an hour.
Okay, that sounds about good.
Yeah, but I mean, if the whole universal income thing doesn't get working, then yeah, I would have to say again $15 an hour, because I mean, for me, you look at other countries that have a minimum wage that's a living wage. I mean, these are countries that have stronger middle classes than we do.
Yeah, and like Denmark, for example, they like McDonald's pays people $20 an hour, or at least the equivalent of $20 an hour here. But the thing is, they have no minimum wage laws on the books. Apparently, what happened is the unions are very strong in Denmark.
Yeah, and the unions here are weak.
Yeah, they've been cut down by corporate interests and lobbying for decades.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so I mean, that's kind of why I'm starting to take a real look at Andrew Yang. I actually think that he may be right.
Well, I'll tell you what, you were talking about how there's a lot of progressives in this race, but to me, the only real progressives in this race are, I think, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, and Yang. Those are the only. Cory Booker, let's be honest, Cory Booker is a corporate Democrat.
Yeah, he's not even close. I mean, the guy even voted against getting cheaper drugs into the country from Canada.
Exactly. And Kamala Harris, again, let's be honest, she is absolutely what I like to call a Hillary-style Democrat.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know all the negative stories about her, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard some of them.
Yeah, the Mnuchin one.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that one was probably the worst one. I mean, although the one where she actually tried to fight the courts to keep an innocent man in jail. I mean, she even knew the person was innocent.
Yeah,
But
I don't want someone like that as president. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it would hurt the prison labor population.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And well, I'll say this: if Bernie doesn't get it, I am actually, when it comes to like my top 5 that I hope get it, I definitely actually Andrew Yang is second.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Bernie, Tulsi, and Andrew Yang are in my top 3. I mean, it's basically those 3.
Yeah, I agree, but unfortunately, with I think with her foreign policy being so unpopular, I doubt that. I'm hoping she gets into the debates at least, but I don't think Tulsi's going to win it. As far as you and I both know, Bernie's most likely going to be the front runner, and I hope that's the case. And I hope the DNC has learned its lesson and just stays the fuck out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think Tulsi is going to be. I don't think she's going to do too bad. I mean, it is possible that the left-wing vote gets split 3 ways between Bernie, Tulsi, and Yang. But again, what I say is, as long as their combined delegate totals, once they're pledged to one candidate, can put, say, Bernie Sanders above 51%, then Bernie's the nominee.
Yeah. And I really hope that happens, because I'm sorry, but things need to fucking change in this country, because, I mean, people are tired like myself. I can't speak for Prometheus, but Americans like myself, we're tired of fucking living paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much in that category myself, although I'm a lot better off than I was a year ago. But, I still think that we need to stop living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, and again, we definitely need a fair tax system. And again, I never thought I'd say this about any news station, but Fox News just flat out disgusts me. I mean, the only reason I watch it is just for entertainment.
Oh, all 3 of them disgust me.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll say this: like, if I was forced to watch any one of them, it would probably be CNN. And like, if I was having to be forced to watch one of them, but yeah, I don't like any of them.
Oh, that's a tough call. I mean, MSNBC with Rachel Maddow and every Russia conspiracy theory. Oh, and then you have, then you have CNN, and they're just, everyone on CNN is just a dial tone. And of course, Fox News just pisses me off.
Yeah, I think with CNN, their main problem is that they have what I like to call a neutrality bias. Like, I think I'm pretty sure you've seen clips like these in the past, but they'll bring on like a like when it comes to climate change, they'll bring on a scientist, and then they'll bring on like a politician from fucking Tennessee who has no science degree whatsoever, and then act like it's equal.
I mean, they treat it like it's just a debate forum instead of a news network.
Exactly. Like, okay, climate change is not up for debate, fuckers. It's here, and if
bring on the debate, but guess what? These anti-climate people are just gonna get their asses kicked.
Exactly. And then, like I said, I'm willing to bet that most of these TV hosts that we see probably live in New York. Well, guess what? They're not going to think climate change is, so funny or debatable when, again, half of fucking New York's underwater.
Yeah, no, the irony is delicious.
Exactly. Well, if New York is going to be half underwater in 20 years, I just hope I'm living in a place where it's not, where I can have beachfront property.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention Rush Limbaugh lives in Florida. So that's going to be a sweet irony.
Yeah, right. Oh, speaking of sweet irony, what's your thoughts on the whole Cohen situation?
I mean, I actually think the AOC portion of questioning was absolutely terrific. I actually, when it comes to AOC, there's things I don't like about her, and then there's things I like about her. This falls in one of the categories of where I like her. She seemed to actually go after something that Trump actually did. He actually devalues his property and then tries to get insurance companies to insure him for a greater number than they're worth. And he actually uses the same trick to get lower taxes or even to opt out of taxes.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think that was brilliant. And according to the mainstream media, they're actually saying that she laid down the groundwork for the Democrats to get their hands on Trump's tax returns.
That's good. And I love her. And I forget the representative name, but I do like how Cohen put that one representative in his place. He's like, "You're a liar. I never said that. I was talking. You referring? I think
it was either Jim Jordan or Mark Meadows."
Yes, I think it was Jim Jordan. And it definitely angered me that they brought on like one black woman to say, "See, Trump's not a racist." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Do you think we're that stupid?"
I know. It's kind of like, look, he has a black friend.
Exactly.
The thing is, when it comes to that's kind of the thing where the left has gone wrong with identity politics. Is now the conservatives are kind of playing the card against the identity politics crowd of the left. That's what Diamond and Silk are for. That's what Candace Owens is for. They're just people that realize that due to conservatives not having much black representation when it comes to their central figures, they figure they can make more money being shills for the Republicans than they would the Democrats, which basically has black activists like they're a dime a dozen.
Exactly. I mean, this is no different from, we see these conservative Christians who want to deny service to gay people. Well, I'm not homophobic, but it's against my religious beliefs. I'm like, shut up. And freaking Candace Owens, she's getting more on my nerves every fucking day.
Now Prager University is giving her own show.
Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
are you serious?
I know. Roseanne Barr is apparently going to be our first guest.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I just saw it on Twitter yesterday. It's like, oh,
wait, stop. Let me see if I got this straight. Dumb fuck Candace Owens gets your own TV show, and smart guys like you and me have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, it's a podcast, but yeah, pretty much. Prager University. It said Prager University was sponsoring it. I'll find it. Let me just give me a minute.
No problem. It's times like this that make me realize that it's times like this that make me actually believe that we're just aliens living in a virtual reality.
What do you know? It's it's a pinned tweet. Yeah. Exciting news. PragerU is launching the Candace Owens Show, a new podcast featuring in-depth.
Hello? Yeah, you cut out there, Prometheus.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. Where'd you lose me?
Where you said the Candace Owens Show.
Okay. Candace Owens Show featuring in-depth conversations with real Candace O and fascinating guests. The first episode with the real Roseanne airs this Sunday, March 3rd. New episode every Sunday. PragerU.com/Candace.
So the girl who thought that Hitler wasn't a nationalist gets her own TV show, and well, I would consider myself somewhat smart. But
this is a girl that ran a doxing wanted to run a doxing website.
I heard about that, and then she tried to play it out. Well, I never did that. I'm like, there's evidence right there that you tried to.
Oh yeah, the thing is, I mean, she was a lefty in Zoe Quinn's crew when she started that. Then Zoe Quinn turned on her because they didn't want that kind of a weapon being used by conservatives against them. So she ended up defecting to the conservatives and then raising money to get that website in action. So
yeah, I know she was on Lou Dobbs, I think, last week saying, oh, well, I've been effective in turning black people against the Republicans. I mean, against the Democrats. I'm like, first of all, no, you haven't. And secondly, you have honestly utterly failed, in my opinion. And it cracks me up because she did actually criticize OC a while back, saying, making the claim that, oh, well, AOC doesn't know our history. And I paused for a second and I thought to myself, okay, the woman who denies the historical fact that there was a platform switch between the two parties is going to lecture someone else about not knowing American history.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then the fact that she was telling Sargon of Akkad about how LBJ wasn't like the savior of black people or whatever, and then said, I mean, I don't know the entire quote, so I mean, I could be butchering it, but she was implying that the Democrats were worse to black people than the conservatives were. Now, you could probably make that case with Bill Clinton, but the thing is, Richard Nixon actually started the drug war because he wanted to go after his political opponents, which includes hippies and blacks.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, you know, she's just a dishonest actor.
Oh yeah, and again, and it just cracked me up because when it comes to people like Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk and Tommy Lahren, to me, like they're to me, these people are used to talking to what I'm and you may agree with this kind of terminology, punching bag liberals. But the second you get them in a room with an actual progressive who knows what they're talking about, they look like the idiots that they are.
Oh yeah, it's kind of the Fox News arguments. They always put in these easy to take down liberals against like hardcore people like Hannity and Carlson and Ingram, and then they look so much better after destroying a liberal. But then,
exactly, and I think Tommy Lahren is a prime example of this because to me, you saw how stupid she looked when she went on Bill Maher's show a few years ago.
Yeah, but then, Tucker Carlson, I'll admit, he's been bringing on like some of the hardest hitters I've seen yet. I mean, yeah. There was the guy that wanted to argue with Tucker Carlson on taxes, and he actually, and believe it or not, he actually brought on Nomiki Konst, which I think she actually did a very good job in taking him down on climate change.
Oh yeah, I agree. In fact, there was I'm going to mirror a video of Fox News, and I forget the woman's name. But she's been on this. She's been on Vonnie's show before. I think her name is Caroline Ann something. And yeah, she's pretty much going to own him on taxes. She's like, she looked at him. She's like, wait a minute, you actually think that the wealthy and the ultra wealthy pay half their money in taxes every year? It's like, where are you getting this from?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they use so many friggin' tax loopholes and hide their money offshore that they virtually pay next to nothing in taxes.
Oh, exactly, and then that's Stuart Vaughn is always saying, like whenever he's talking to someone who agrees that the rich should pay more in tax, he's like, so you think so you think people should pay half their money to the government? I'm like, okay, we're not stupid. We know the rich aren't paying half their money.
Yeah, nobody's paying half their money. I mean, the thing is, what they're advocating for is a higher marginal tax rate.
Yeah, which was high for most of our history.
Yeah, we've had that high marginal tax rate since the 30s. The 30s to the 60s, the average rate was about 70%.
Yeah,
I mean, at its highest, it was like 93 to 95%.
I agree. There's just so much crap going on. I mean, I honestly hope that Trump is a fucking one-term president. I really, really do.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm going to be honest. I really don't think Trump is ever going to be impeached. I don't think he's going to be impeached. I don't think he's ever going to be put in jail, because there are presidents that have done very horrible things, probably worse things than Trump, but have never seen a day in jail.
I agree. I mean, I honestly wish he would be, because quite frankly, he did bomb Syria without the permission of Congress. That to me is an impeachable defense. Sorry,
Yeah,
offense.
but then by that logic, Bush would be in jail.
And I agree, Bush should be in jail, because first of all, he also did that, but he also lied to the American people. But let me be clear. I do think that Trump might win another term if the DNC doesn't again learn their lesson and realize that centrism is not the answer anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, when it comes to the centrists, one of the things I've always talked to centrists about is they gotta at least embrace some of the key platforms of the left. I mean, Medicare for all, they have to at least embrace that, because it's not extreme. It's done by other countries in the world. It's actually something that if you implement it, small businesses can actually save money, because they no longer have to provide health care for their employees. So that's more profit for the businesses. And if you're an employee on employee-based health care, then you don't have to worry about losing it because you got laid off or fired.
Exactly. And again, that's one of the objections from the corporate media of, oh, well, you know, people like their employee-based health care. I'm like, first of all, no, they don't. And secondly, that people will lose that health care if they get laid off or fired. And then what's going to happen?
I mean, okay, would you rather have employee-based health care, or would you rather have the government pay for it? Or a better way to phrase it would be, or would you rather not have to pay out-of-pocket expenses to get treated? What do you think they're going to say?
Exactly. In fact, if I ever get a job that actually has employee-based healthcare, I'm going to turn it the fuck down.
Well, not until a single-payer system is implemented. But yeah, I can see your point.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I can't get a welding job, I'm hoping to get a security job in New York. And most security jobs in New York pay about $16, $17 an hour.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm security out in Arizona, and I kind of lucked out because I have such a good relationship with my boss. So the pay is a lot more generous than I used to make at my old job.
Well, I mean, I've recently got a Vermont security license, and they said that I guess for most, if not all, serious security jobs in New York, that you're gonna need a New York security license. And the only thing I would have to do, at least for here, I think I have to pay like $100 to get my fingers printed, and I take it like an 8-hour class, and like that, I got it.
Oh yeah, that's basically for the unarmed guard card. I mean, if you're going armed, yeah, that's like 2 days.
Well, I was actually there. Then, yeah, I'm gonna have to ask my security place that I do now, because I technically have two jobs. I work at my main job is a spa attendant at a resort, and the security job I have now, that's only for like certain shifts.
Okay, so is it part-time or full-time?
I guess you can say part-time. Is kind of like a casual thing. Like you have to sign up for events and stuff.
Okay.
It's not like, you know, a security guard at like a bank or something.
Oh yeah, I mean that job, because my old company had that contract and people hated it. They just literally had to stand there in the frickin' heat. And it's Arizona. It gets like over 100 degrees, and you're wearing like a thick security uniform. So people were quitting it left and right.
I mean, for $17 an hour, I ain't gonna quit. And like, as long as I got water, I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you were in Arizona, I would put that to the test.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we've been talking about an hour and a half. I wish more people had come in, but like I said, this was kind of a last minute thing, and I know I kind of planned it this monthly hangout on the last day of the month. So, anymore. So, as always, I'm gonna give my guest here a kind of a closing statement and to shout himself out.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, man. It's actually good to be back. I don't think I've been on for quite a while. But I'm Prometheus the Prophet, signing off.
All righty. And of course, I'm your host, the Atheist Ranger. If you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe. And as I said at the beginning of this Hangouts, I'm going to be keeping my PayPal. And to anyone that donates over $10, I will respond to a political or religious video of your choosing. And, as soon as this gets done, I'm going to put the link to my PayPal in the description below. You all have a wonderful night.